What's up, everyone? Welcome to Adobe Live. I'm here with Ayana Smith.
Hi.
I'm very excited to have you here. You're a super talented designer, huge fan.
Happy to be here.
And we'll be live right here at the same time for the next 3 days, counting today. So just say what's up in chat. Let's see who we got today. I know we got Eric. Been talking to you in the earlier stream. Always glad to see you here, man. What's up? What's up, Allie? Oh, Tim's in there too. Everybody's in, saying hi to you.
Hi. Hi,
Very
Tim.
cool. So this week on Adobe Live, we have some other streams coming up after us with Jermaine. And then, of course, Kat was before us, and it'll be the same tomorrow and the next day. So before we begin, there's actually the XD Daily Challenge, which is going on right now. I'm actually doing some mentoring for that, giving some feedback for people doing that challenge.
Awesome.
But we're actually going to check some of them out today on the stream. So around the end of the stream, we'll be checking out your submissions. So be sure to check out the challenge tab above the chat in Behance and check out what we got going on there, and join us on the Slack group as well for additional feedback. So from there, we can talk about you.
Okay.
So we're going to give a little introduction about yourself and what you do.
Awesome. Okay, I put together a little introduction just so you guys
Perfect.
could get to know me a little bit better.
Very nice.
So like Zach said, I'm Ayana Campbell Smith. I just want to say first off, thank you so much to Adobe for inviting me to come out. This is just really cool. You never think when you're 12 years old playing with Adobe Photoshop that you'll be at Adobe HQ one day.
That's crazy.
Live streaming, so this is really awesome. So a couple things you should know about me. I'm from Orlando, Florida, born and raised. So currently,
It's a long flight.
yeah, it's a long flight, about 2,900 miles away from home right now, but happy to be here.
Awesome.
I'm a proud graduate of the University of Central Florida. Go Knights. Have a degree in graphic design from there. Graduated in 2014.
Oh, awesome.
I'm a senior designer at NV Labs, and so it's a web consultancy in Orlando. We have a focus on building software systems with focus on data visualization and education and training platforms. So I've been there for almost 4 years. I think some of them might be watching in the chat, so hi guys if you guys are watching.
Always fun to see familiar faces in the chat.
Yeah, and then also I'm a lover of clean interfaces, animation, and just cute stuff in general. So you guys can see my little
That
animation
is a very
there.
cute folder.
Yeah. So I put together some more examples, just some of my work that I do, some prototyping, interactive prototyping with wireframes,
Awesome.
things like that. There's another one. Also, animating characters is like one thing I like to do when I need a break from
that's awesome.
UI design. So made this little fellow last year. And then another little fun, just like an empty state animation that I made for a site that I worked on. So
That's so good.
thank you. So today, I don't know if I should
Yes,
dive
go
into
right
what I'm
into what we're
doing.
doing today. That's perfect.
Today, I wanted to design a dog adoption app. When I was thinking about what I wanted to create, I wanted to make something that I would be interested in using myself.
Right.
So funny story is I'm probably one of the biggest dog lovers in the world, but I don't actually own a dog. I hope to in the near future. So I wanted to create an app that would help users find dog adoptions in their local area.
That's awesome.
So as far as what I'll be covering, day one today I'll be going over the planning process and wireframing. Day two, I'll create a mood board and get into design, and then on day three, I'm hoping to hop into some prototyping, maybe test out the auto animate feature, which I heard is really awesome. Excited to get into that. So that's
That
what I'll
sounds
be
great.
doing. Yeah.
Love the presentation. Super well done.
Thank you so much.
Someone asked you actually, what do you use for the animations that you make?
For the animations, I use Adobe After Effects.
Oh, perfect.
So,
Even better. Perfect. So, are you going to be starting in XD, Photoshop? What is your plan to get started into it?
I actually have just another little bit of an intro to my planning
Perfect.
process, and then I'll dive right into
Awesome.
Adobe XD. So as far as my planning process, I just wanted to cover really quick kind of what I was thinking as I was starting to plan for this app. So as far as defining some user needs that I thought would be good, for me, I'm the user number one. So what I wanted to do with this app is provide a means for being matched with dogs that kind of fit your lifestyle, give users the ability to search for dogs in their area, and then also a way for them to learn about the specific dog breeds.
Ooh, I think that's a really good feature that kind of a lot of people that do these types of things don't really think about, is learning about it. That's awesome.
So learning about dog breeds is pretty important, I think, because a lot of things can be determined by like their temperament, their size, like it's all part of the the dog
The
breed.
shedding.
Yeah, the
Can you
shedding.
deal with shedding?
Hyperallergenic, whether or not they're that way. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's kind of what I had in mind as I started to plan these wires.
Awesome.
And then a couple more slides here. So
Oh, I love this.
one thing that I really like to do that's really helpful for me when I'm thinking about complex flows is to literally write out the user journey. That sort of puts my mind in the space where I'm thinking about the user and the flow that they'll take. Someone said, what about
Right.
cats? Sorry, dog lover. Cats are cool too, but I like dogs more.
At least
Sorry.
you're not totally anti-cat.
Yeah, don't send any letters. Cats are cool too. But yeah, I like to write out a user journey, and it kind of puts me in the mind space of getting in the user's mind and not just diving into design so quick, because I think a lot of times as designers we're very solution oriented, and so sometimes taking the time to actually get on pen and paper and not just dive into design can be really helpful.
Yeah, I
as far
absolutely
as-
agree. I love that you do that.
Yeah. And then also another approach you could take is drawn out user journey. So this is kind of the same thing, but it's visually more appealing, I guess.
Yeah, that's way better than anything I could draw.
Thank you. Someone caught my Bark Ruffalo reference. Hope you guys like that. I thought it was funny.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, this is just a written user journey. I always use my husband's name, Charles, in my...
I do the same thing.
Yeah, he's always the first name that I use. So Charles is looking for a dog. No, it's not a font. It actually is my handwriting.
That is actually really good.
So then after I do that, I like to hop into just some quick sketches, kind of getting my ideas out. This is sort of a little more detail oriented, but still not completely
Right,
like
right.
wires. And so
Yeah.
I kind of will sketch out some wireframes, use a red pen to add notes, things that I want to research later, things that I have in mind. So that's my process.
That's
And just
really
another side note, if you guys want neat notes, I like using the dot grid Moleskine journals. And I use these little, I don't know if you can see it, but these little, what are they called? Paper Mate Flare pens. They're really
nice.
good. They have a nice weight to them.
Sweet.
So yeah, that's what I use. That's my process for
That's
planning.
awesome.
Thank you.
I love how in-depth it is. And then the sketching thing is something I've kind of started doing the past few years, actually, instead of doing it all the time. And I think it helps so much with just trying to figure out exactly what you need to do.
Yeah,
So
definitely. It really
I love
helps.
that.
Cool.
Awesome. All right, so are you starting an XD for
Yeah,
wireframes, or
I
how do
can
you
start
want
an
to start?
XD. Let me go ahead and close this out.
Yeah.
So yeah, if there aren't any other comments or questions, I'll go ahead and get started
Yeah, for sure.
with this. Actually, let me.
So, do you always? Well, I guess you did kind of like the basic drawings, but do you ever draw your wireframes, or do you do them straight in XD? Or?
I think what I just showed that last slide was pretty much the extent that I
Okay.
draw stuff out. I don't ever go really big because
Right.
once I get big, then I'm getting really
Right, that
detail
totally makes
oriented
sense.
and getting bogged
Yeah.
down in the details. So
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. So, what screens are we starting with? Like, what is the skeleton we need for this?
So I think I'm going to start with the first flow. So I guess I should have sort of explained my idea. Hi, Jenny. Sorry, just saw you in the chat.
Hey, Nell too. She's always in the chat.
Nice to see you
her.
guys. Thanks for being here. So the two flows in the app are going to be number one, a personality quiz that will match users with
nice.
a breed. And then the second flow would be just a basic search. So I'm gonna start with the first flow with having the personality quiz, and I'll just start sort of
Yeah.
laying that out in XD. I almost said HD.
HD
High
as well.
definition.
Thanks,
Yeah.
HD.
So yeah, I have this document that I've already started.
Sweet.
I have a couple icons that I know I'm gonna be needing, and then I'm gonna be using, I believe this is the iPhone 8 artboard size. And one tip that I learned from Megan Fisher was on, I don't know if it was last
Oh, yeah.
year, but I watched her stream the other day.
Nice.
I'm using an 8-pixel grid. I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen, which it's kind of hard to see from what I'm looking at now, but
Everybody zoom in.
everyone zoom in on you. Yeah, I'm using an 8-pixel grid, and an iPhone 8 size is 375. So I just added an extra pixel, so it's divisible by 8.
Okay, nice.
So
Sweet.
when this is exported, you can delete that extra pixel. But I just need
Yeah,
things
yeah.
to be even because I'm kind of neurotic about that kind of stuff. So. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and start. I usually, when I'm doing my wireframes, I'll start with just a couple of colors, and then kind of keep it pretty much black and white, not get too bogged down in details. So using the rectangle tool, I'm gonna make the splash screen. So this is what you would see on the first launch.
Right.
I like to use usually like a white, a light gray, and like a darker gray. So I have those 3 colors already.
And now we can see that grid
Yeah, now
for
you
sure.
can see that. And then also, whenever I'm designing, I like to use Helvetica just
Very
because
nice.
it looks nice.
Yeah, can't go wrong.
So this is going to be the Apple logo would go here.
Not to go kind of back, but before Alberto's comment disappears,
Oh,
he
sorry.
had a question about your notebook process.
Mm-hmm.
He said, oh, and there it goes. Basically, it was about the yellow tabs and the pages,
Okay.
or something like that.
Yeah, so I follow the bullet journal system.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times there are certain things that I don't necessarily want to commit to my notebook all the way.
Right.
So it's usually like to-do lists, things like that. I'll use Post-it notes for that instead of writing it in because sometimes it's not stuff that I necessarily want to keep in there. It's just things that I'm thinking about quickly, and I'll just kind of paste it in there. So yeah.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm using Helvetica. Let's change this to white.
Well, at least we got people ready to go out and walk their dogs now.
Well, go do that and then come back and join me.
Yeah, they said BRB.
Okay. Okay, so first screen, app logo here. And then I'm gonna drag another artboard over. I'm holding Alt and Shift to duplicate the artboard. And then this one is going to be sort of like that first launch screen as far as like determining the path that you want to take, whether or not it's doing the personality quiz or doing a search. So that's what I'm going to be laying out now. Let's call this first launch.
Got a comment about the designing for iPhone 7 and 8 was way easier than for the 10. Do you have any experience with that? Like, any opinion?
I have never designed for the 10. Is that the one that has the notch?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had
And
a
the
chance to
screen's
design for
pretty
that.
narrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know a lot of people were like tweeting about that and stuff when they first announced the screen size and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet, but I imagine it is kind of difficult if you're used to
Just a wider screen.
the wider
stuff,
screen, yeah,
for sure.
for sure. So it's just a placeholder. App logo is going to go here. And then this is where I'm going to be sort of laying out that idea of the 2 different paths. So
Sweet.
this first box will be for determining basically whether or not you want to take the quiz. So I'm going to say,
Oh, okay,
take
yeah.
our quiz.
So you're not going to require it? It's going to be optional?
Yeah, it'll be optional.
I like that.
Yep. Some people already know about the breed that they want, I imagine. So
Right, exactly.
we don't want to kind of lock them into that flow and
Right,
have them
right.
doing things that they don't necessarily want to partake in.
That could totally make them not want to use the app
Yeah,
if
exactly.
they're pretty specific about what they
Yeah.
want.
And I think that's why it's important, like I said, during the planning phase to kind of define your users and get an idea of like what path you think they're going to want to take.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make this gray. This represents like an image up here. I used to use this on Mac. They have this, I don't know if it's called a plugin or like an app, but it's basically a way to get lorem ipsum text really quickly. So
Yeah, there's actually XD recently launched plugins, and there's actually some plugins where you can do that straight
really?
in XD now.
Oh, nice. I need to check that out.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm gonna make this, let's see, regular. Drop the font
And Nell
size
said she
down.
loves your tutorials on YouTube.
Oh, really? Oh,
That's
thank
awesome.
you for watching. I need to get back to those tutorials. Video. I have so much respect for YouTubers because
Yeah.
making content and editing
Videos
and
is not
uploading,
easy.
it's not like I was very gung ho when I started, and I still definitely want to get back to it, but it is not an easy thing to do and to keep up.
Oh,
so
yeah, definitely.
yeah, I'm hoping to get back to that sometime this year, but it's
Yeah,
just
awesome.
it's a lot. So this is some sort of like placeholder text about the quiz. Like that. And then the last thing I need is a button, so I'm going to make another rectangle here. Give that a darker fill. Remove the border. And then I'll just put some text on there. Let's make that white.
So So do you primarily do like app design over web design, or?
I actually, in my day job, it's mostly like app design. So this was a fun challenge for me actually, and I kind of welcome this challenge because sort of making time for yourself to design things purely for yourself can be hard as a designer sometimes. So
Absolutely.
yeah, getting the invitation from Adobe to come and do whatever I wanted was
excuse to
yeah,
do
it was,
right?
yeah, it was super fun. So this is going to be a button that says, let's see, take a quiz, CTA there.
Eric said he needs to make tutorials too. Eric, I would totally watch your videos, so you better get a channel up today.
Yeah, do it. We need more of that stuff. You can never have too many educational resources, I feel like, in design.
True.
So.
Seriously.
Okay, so that is the first part, and then down here, I'm going to have sort of like a divider that says or.
Okay, I see where you're going.
Yeah, you see where I'm going? And then this little box down here will be like another search bar.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
So I like this fun text, like find your
Perfect dog or something like
best
that.
friend.
Oh, even
right?
better.
Because dogs are your best friend.
Right.
So that can either be, I'm not sure what it'll be exactly yet. It might either be a search field or a button, but I'll have it be like a field for now. So let's define that by making it more rounded.
Awesome. So we also only have 10 minutes left until we're going to do chat and win.
Okay.
We can win this awesome hardcover notebook from Moo. It's very nice, actually. Check this out.
I like that color.
Look at that.
Oh, cool.
Very nice.
What are the pink pages?
Yeah, I know, right?
That's cool.
Colored pages
Awesome.
and everything. But yeah, you can select pretty much any color as well when you win. So stick around for that. Coming up in 10 minutes.
Sounds good. Okay, so this is a rough idea of what the first screen will be.
Yeah. Victor asked, is XD also good for desktop web designs? 100% absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you could do it for pretty much any type of screen design, smartwatch, whatever it is. XD can handle it for sure.
And especially with the built-in prototyping, that's one of my favorite things about this app. Like, I'm so excited to get into the auto animate on day 3.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, today actually they just launched a new feature in XD, which is auto animate in the browser. So usually, you can create your XD link with the share button up in the top right. You could share your design and it wouldn't have the animations, but now fully supports that, so you can share your designs with your clients or with your coworkers or whatever it is.
That's awesome. I love
so
that.
that's awesome for sure.
That's gonna be really cool. Okay, so we have the first screen, and so like I said, we're doing the flow for someone that is actually going through the quiz. So this is going to be a quiz question here. And I always like to just copy my artboards because sometimes you have elements that you want to reuse. So I'm gonna be doing this. Make this bigger.
So do you ever, when you get like a ton of artboards, do you ever try to like organize them in a certain way, or do you just kind of just keep going and just focus on the work?
I'm pretty detail oriented, so I usually do keep my layers and my artboards pretty organized.
You do have your layers panel open, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
I haven't gone through and renamed anything, but usually, because I'm on
Do you ever do that?
I do actually. Like, I'm pretty good about going back and renaming my layers and reordering them.
Well, I'm sure developers love you.
Yeah. If they're in the chat, they can let you know how much they love me.
Oh, I believe it.
So this top part is going to be like a quiz card. I'm going to reuse this text, and this will be a question, something along the lines of, like, what kind of house do you live in? Basically just getting an idea of where the person lives and, like, what kind of dog they can actually accommodate. So that's the idea there.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's super important.
Yeah, those are things to consider because you can't have
I want a Great Dane in my studio apartment.
Yeah, in my one-bedroom apartment. It doesn't really work. So that's a question. And I want to have like some sort of progress bar. Kind of gives the user an indication of how far along they are in the quiz. So I'll have that there. Change that border to be.
Heather made a good point that if you're naming your layers, it will really help with the auto animate.
Yes,
and that's definitely
for
true.
sure.
That's
and so
a great point.
That's definitely something that will come in handy because when you're trying to I believe the layers have to have the same names, right? Because that's how
Right,
they
yeah.
sort of
That's
communicate.
kind of how it works with the automation there.
Yeah, so keeping that organized is really important.
Yep, great point.
Yeah, so this is a little progress bar down here. We have a question. I'm gonna make a couple more buttons. So this would be, let's say, apartment.
Oh, okay.
Let's say this is a house. And then I don't know, maybe apartment and condo are kind of the same thing, but I'm just gonna say a condo. You know, just different house types.
Right.
And then up here, I want to leave space for some sort of like illustration or like an image, an icon, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I make that gray.
So I just saw a question that just disappeared, but basically the question was, what do you do? What are is your advice for posting something on your portfolio, whether it's on Behance or Dribble or whatever?
Personally, I always like whenever you're working in this sort of field, like a digital design field where web is a very interactive sort of field, I like to include either animated GIFs or videos showing interactions because
nice,
you can
yeah.
only get so much from like a static image, either posting on Dribble or Behance. Is it Behance, right?
Behance, yeah.
Behance, yeah. Behance. Yeah, so I always, whenever I'm posting, I usually like to take the approach of posting some sort of interactive or animated sort of image just because it
really
sort of
smart, yeah.
conveys more of like what you had in mind as far as interactions and stuff like that go.
Love it.
Okay, so this is a quiz page, and the other thing, looks like I duplicated that. Oops. The progress bar, and then I'm also going to duplicate this rectangle and just bring it in some, send it to the back, and kind of give the idea of like layers. So what I'm envisioning, I don't know if you guys can really see that, but sort of this like layered look. I'm envisioning like when the user,
Like a stack of cards.
yeah, like a stack of cards
Makes
basically.
sense.
So when they put in their answer, then it would sort of swipe to the other side as they move forward.
Nice.
And then I should probably, let's make this round too, just for consistency. One thing that I'm still getting used to is this is kind of the first time that I'm really using XD in depth. Like I've played with it before, but
Yeah.
I feel like I've been sleeping on it for way too long. Like it's a great program for real.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself that you can create these symbols in here too,
yes,
so that, you know,
Super helpful.
you can reuse these elements as you go on. So I made a button symbol, and then
Yeah, another way you could do the buttons actually is the repeat grid as well, instead of having to copy them.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that feature. Let me.
You could definitely
I
help
can
with that type of a screen.
demonstrate that now, actually,
Yeah.
since you mentioned it. So you select your element, you select this repeat grid up here, and then you can just drag down, and it magically creates buttons for you.
Very cool.
And then you can adjust the spacing in between by sort of clicking and dragging that way. But let me see.
Yeah, and you just made that same thing in like 2 seconds, so
Yep.
that's awesome. Totally agree with Tim. That's the cool thing about XD. It only takes 30 minutes to learn. I would say even less, honestly.
Yeah, I would say even less, especially if you're coming from
another design tool.
Yeah,
They're-
design tools.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything is really intuitive, I'd say. So that's a quiz question. Yeah, repeat grid is awesome. Okay, so
Adobe Cadabra.
yeah, it's like magic. The next thing that I'm going to do is sort of showing the results of the quiz. So the user has selected that they want to take the quiz, they're going through the questions, and then at the end they're presented with the results of like breeds that would work for them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to duplicate this artboard again, get rid of this progress bar, get rid of this repeat grid, and then I'll just reuse this. So I envision having like an image of the dog breed up here.
Oh, okay.
So that's an image. The name of the breed. So let's just go with Labrador Retriever.
Someone was asking what size grid you had again?
It's an 8-pixel
Yeah.
grid. keeps things really organized. It's actually one of the first times too that I'm using a grid to design. Normally I would just use columns, but I was watching a couple other designers that have been on and they're using the 8-pixel grid, and I think it's really great. Especially, like I said, I'm very detail oriented and I like to stay clean.
Perfect
So
for you.
yeah, definitely probably going to be the new thing that I use.
Awesome.
Okay, so we have a Labrador Retriever. I'm going to copy this lorem ipsum that I used before. So this would be, this is a description. The dog breed. This is another thing that I like to do. Even though I use lorem ipsum, I usually start the first sentence of it with a description of what that text should be. So I have an idea.
Keeps things more organized.
I have an idea when I go back to design, like what copy is going to be needed there. Gonna make that free-lined. Let's see, left justify it. So we have the name of the breed, a description, and then another thing that I think would be really fun as far as giving users like a quick glance at the breed and kind of helping them to know some of the defining features of the breed is to have like little tags that would
that's
sort of indicate, So maybe they don't want to go through and actually read about the breed right now, but they can get an idea of sort of what
meets their requirements.
Exactly.
Love it.
So I'm gonna make this like a light color. So characteristics of this breed could be like family friendly.
Yeah.
Let's make this, bring that to the front. Actually gonna drop the size down of this just a little bit so there's some more hierarchy there.
Oh, and we actually only have 40 seconds left for chat and win, so that's coming up real soon.
Okay, sounds good. Say family friendly, energetic maybe is another one, just so you know how hyper your dog is. Some people may not like that.
I need a mellow dog.
Yeah. I definitely need a mellow dog. My life is I have too much going on to have a crazy dog.
Deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, my couch is destroyed. What else got?
Exactly. I wouldn't like that very much.
Been there.
Let's do 4 times.
All right, that's the countdown for chat and win. So we'll have a nice little intro video to that, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So it's chat and win. All you have to do is jump in the chat, log in on behance.net/live, and you can be entered to win a hardcover notebook from Moo. All you have to do is chat. It's so easy. This will be the easiest thing you've done all day that can win you something so cool.
Yeah.
Look at that chat explode. Oh, there's a couple people I know in there, actually.
Yep, a lot of people in there.
Here we go. Who's going to win? Any minute now.
Kelly Kapowski.
There's Heather. There's Eric. Eric's losing his mind laughing. All right, we have a winner. Audrey, you have won. You can see your name right above us over there. You won a notebook, and we will be reaching out to you on Behance for you to claim that.
Awesome. Congratulations, Audrey.
Yeah, that's a super sweet notebook. I think you'll be very happy.
I'm jealous.
You should have entered the chat.
I
Could
should
have opened a tab.
Darn.
That'd be hilarious if you won.
Next time, that would be pretty funny. Okay, so I'm just adding a couple more tags here. Something about the size of the dog. And then also, let's see what another good one. I have some things written down here. Let's just say they are also playful personality. Okay.
So this kind of is going to turn into how the search is going to work. Is there going to be a way to search the tags, or what exactly will we be searching for in the search?
So they'll be searching based on a number of criteria, including the location, like the distance from the user. they can actually search by breed if they want to, temperament, size, things like that. So
it'd be a pretty advanced search then.
yeah, that's the idea. I mean, I'm
Sweet.
making this app. It's not real thing, so
Right.
I'm gonna
Might as well go all out.
Yeah, go all out while you can. There's no developers to tell me I can't do stuff, so they like to ruin things.
Perfect.
Just kidding. So
Well, the
this,
developers aren't gonna love you now that you said that.
I'll win them back over. This is gonna be a button that just says learn more, and this will be what will take you to the actual breed sort of like detail page,
Right.
where you can read more about the breed. Okay, so we have that, and then I'm just gonna grab one of these icons over here. Have a way to close out. I kind of envision this being like an overlay on top of
Okay, yeah.
the current screen or the last screen you were on. And then we probably don't need this. I'll rename this artboard to quiz results. Actually, I'm gonna bring this, give us a title. Say something like your matches here. Okay. So that is the basic flow for sort of getting matched with a breed.
It's looking good already.
Thank you so much. And so then, like I said, users can click on the Learn More button, and they can be taken to the breed detail page,
Right,
which
right.
I will probably going to do that later because I want to get
Yeah,
into to sort of like what the home page and the search will look like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as far as the home page goes, this will be assuming that the user has. This is sort of showing the view for a user that has been using the app for a while.
Right.
So they will have some things that you kind of see in apps normally, like a recent search history, some recommended breeds and dogs in the area that they might like. So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking up in a second here. So I'm just going to delete all of this and start fresh again. So let's see. To start, we'll have up here.
Heather asked if you could pass on the dog by swiping left.
I actually did have that idea, like a Tinder style dog matching app, but maybe on day 3 when I'm doing the prototyping, I might sort of explore something like that.
Yeah, I wonder how that would work though, because like I think it just makes more sense to have all the tags and stuff so you can go find something specific for a dog.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to swipe right on you? You know, is the dog gonna be on the phone at the shelter picking its owner?
See, that's
Like,
what
how
we
do you do
actually
that
need.
part,
I would
right?
love to be matched with a dog and have the dog decide that they want to
Yeah.
be friends with me. That would be hilarious.
Why does the dog get no say in this?
Exactly. So one thing I forgot to mention is that this other kind of like moonshot idea that I had that I thought would be cool is if you were like out somewhere and you were stalking dogs like I do when I'm out in public, being able to actually search by an image. So to take a picture of a dog and then some
nice.
sort of like,
it gives you, like-
AI, like give
right,
you a breed,
right.
like, oh, this looks like a German Shepherd, maybe.
This is a really great version 1 app. It has everything.
Everything that you could ever want, right? So that's what this sort of represents. So the search bar, and then down below, grab this.
Someone's like, how could you even swipe left on a dog?
I never could.
Yeah, it could be dangerous. You'll just buy a ton of dogs.
I'll just end up with every dog in the entire world. So this is going to be like a recent searches section, so that if you like have specific criteria that you're trying to meet when you're finding your dog, you can just kind of dive back in and not have to go through the search process every single time. So
Smart.
recent searches, I'm just going to represent that by like a box. And pull in some search criteria. So maybe you would search for, I don't know, what's your guys' favorite dog breeds in the chat? Let me know so I can pull some out. I think that's how you spell German Shepherd. Shepherd.
Something like that.
Yeah, close enough, right? German Shepherd, let's say male, 50 miles from some fake zip code. Well, I'm sure that's a real zip code, but
Yeah.
I don't know where it is.
I was like, why do you know my zip code?
And then let's see another. You want the age to be like puppy age,
Right.
instead of like an adult dog. So that's a recent search, so you'll be able to just tap that and search for the breed again. And then make this bold for some hierarchy. And then I like the idea of being able to swipe in this section also.
Yeah.
So just sort of giving this indication that there's something off screen, so the users know that they can also swipe
Right.
and see more results. Okay, so we have recent searches. Uh-oh. Just thought I copied
Got
that.
Greyhound, English Bulldog, Mutt.
Mutts are cool too. Sometimes you get a good mix. Okay, so recent searches, and then below here, what do I have? I'm gonna say recently viewed. Dang it, I keep thinking I'm copying stuff and I'm not. Make sure you hold down Alt when you're dragging stuff so you're duplicating and not just moving things that you actually need. Don't be like me. So recently viewed. And this is where I'm gonna start building out kind of what a card will look like for a dog. So, and this will be something that I can reuse on like the search results and some other.
Yep.
Ooh, Bichon Frise, I love those, they're so cute. Yeah, so it's kind of gonna be the same as this card that we designed, but
Right.
it's a little bit different. So pull that down, duplicate this. Again, this represents an image. So make sure you tune in for tomorrow because there's going to be a lot of dog pictures up in here. Like it's going to be great.
There is.
I've already found some great photos on Adobe Stock. So
I was gonna say, where did you find the photos from?
Adobe Stock.
There we go.
So we're gonna have the dog's name. I'm gonna use Bark Ruffalo again because why not? Bark Ruffalo. And then we will have the selling point of this app is sort of like the idea of knowing the dog's breed and sort of learning about breeds. So I'm gonna include that information here. I'm gonna use Bichon Frise, I think that's what I saw in the chat. Bichon Frise. And then I will just copy some of these tags here.
How many screens do you think this is gonna turn into by the time you're done?
I don't know exactly. I mean, I have the designs already done when I was
Right.
playing with, so it's a lot to get through, but I'm just trying to get as far as I can today.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was several screens. I would say at least 10 to 15 screens.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good amount.
And then here, I also included this idea of pressing E on my keyboard to bring up the ellipse tool.
Yeah.
The idea of kind of having an avatar for the shelters. So if you if you're searching for dogs a lot and you kind of get an idea of shelters that you like, kind of this way to quickly see that, oh, this dog is at so-and-so shelter.
that's a
So
nice
that's like an
touch.
avatar here or like a logo for them they can put there. Yeah, I chose your Bichon Frise. They're so cute. And then also, like I said, I had a lot of ideas for these apps. This idea of kind of like what percentage does this dog match you based on the quiz that you might have taken. So if that information is available, this could be like a 97%
Oh, okay, yeah.
match for someone.
And if they didn't take it, it just won't be there.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be there.
Makes sense.
So think that's all that we have on here. And then also, I like the idea of being able to save certain breeds that you viewed. So
Oh yeah.
I'm going to add
Like a favorites list or something.
Yeah, so there'll be like a saved list. Yep, so you could just tap that little heart. It's a little small right now, I'd say probably, but just the idea there of being able to tap in and save. So I'm gonna select all of this, do Command G on my keyboard to group, and then also have this same idea of, actually, you know what? Let me use the repeat grid. Keep reminding myself. Repeat grid. So it's not only vertical, you can also do it horizontally.
Yeah.
So then I'll bring this in some. So now users can get that idea that they can, you know,
Yeah, that looks great too.
swipe and say thank you. And then the last little part is sort of just going to be a duplication of this section above, but it'll be for the app recommending dogs that are in your area.
Josh said this is a really great app idea so far. You might be onto something here. Yeah, well, it looks like we have to find a developer and get going on this.
Developer, get some funding.
Start a whole company on Adobe Live.
Here's my other favorite funny dog name. Hopefully it's not too political.
Come on.
I think, was there another dog breed in here we saw? Was it?
There's an English Bulldog. It's the one that stood out to me.
English Bulldog. Okay. So this is my idea for like the home screen that a user would have. And the last thing that I want to do is create...
Barack Obama.
let me bring this up some. I'm going to create like a bottom fixed menu navigation for the app.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We'll probably need that. So let's make this border gray.
So I know you did a lot of those icons and stuff. Are you going to be making any for this, or do you think we won't have time?
I don't know if I'll have time. I do have a library that I pulled from that I can use on tomorrow if we have time.
Oh, perfect.
But if not, I'll just probably use some of the Google material icons.
Right.
So.
Nice.
Yep. So I want this to be 4 sections. So like I said, I'm very detail oriented. So 3, do the width divided by 4 would be 94. So each of these needs to be 94 pixels wide. And I'm just gonna make one and then duplicate it. So.
Yeah.
So this will be home.
The chat's going crazy with dog puns.
Yeah, I gotta use some of those.
Dog be like.
Oh, Andy Warhol. Warhowl. That's funny. Keep them coming, guys, please.
Paw hands.
So it's gonna be the
Queen Elizabeth.
That's funny. Keep them coming, guys. My mom is actually in the studio, and you're making her laugh over there too. So, mom approves.
You're doing good.
Keep it up. We have the home link, and then this one will be repeat grid again. Bring this in.
There's no shortage going on in that chat.
I'm gonna have to go back
Barker
on this
posing.
tonight and write down some for tomorrow when I'm actually building it out. So we have home. I'm gonna have one for
Harry Potter. I don't know how anybody didn't think of that one earlier.
Potter. Aw, that's adorable. Actually, let's make this centered.
J.K. Growling. Oh Lord.
The saved section, and then the last section in this navigation would be like a profile for the user, but I don't think we're gonna have time to get to it, but I'm just gonna include it just because. Okay, so I think this is pretty much done for that page.
It's coming together quick.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to, got a lot of content to get through, so a lot of ideas. Okay, so next up we should probably do the search,
Yeah.
because that's a big, important feature. Let's see, how did I lay this out? So we'll have just a page title up here. Excuse me.
Will sniff. That one's pretty good.
We'll sniff. That's awesome. For the search, I'm going to have it divided by the different sort of categories. I actually did a little bit of research when I was designing this app, and I went on to apps that would kind of be competitors for this. So
Right.
I think it was like Adopt a Pet and another one that I went on.
So there is some that exist.
Something exists, but it's not really a native app. Well, not that I know of. I didn't research too hard.
Right.
But there are definitely services, obviously, that you can use to help find pets in your area.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that makes this different, like I said, is the fact that it has that personality quiz that sort
Oh,
of
it definitely stands out.
bridges the gap. So for the search, I'm going to lead with breed over here. And then on the opposite side, we'll do, this is just like what the option that has been selected. So any breed is the default.
Bark Vader.
Ah, Star Wars and dogs, are you kidding me? Too much, can't take it. I'll grab this little arrow.
Also, we only have 40 minutes left till the challenge submission deadline. So if you guys want us to check out some of your work on stream and review it for you, definitely hit the challenge tab above the chat so you can enter that. We have a couple entries already, so definitely get on there before the timer runs out.
Mm-hmm. Bonus points if it's dog related.
Yes, bonus points if it's dog related. Work a dog in there somehow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so any breed.
Someone just got into chat, they're like, so what's going on?
Welcome to the dog party. I'm just going to divide each of these little search criteria with a horizontal rule on the bottom.
Yeah, it's pretty clean.
So I'm grouping this, and then I'm going to, again, use the repeat grid feature to quickly.
So easy.
Very easy. And actually, I want this to be just one. Don't need that on this page. Make this one view, so bring it up to this endpoint. I love how XD has this little guide that lets you know where the artboard should end to. That's so helpful.
It's the little things.
Mm-hmm. So I think I need, let's see, we have breed, size, which is really important. Actually, when I was planning this app, I made a Google form quiz or survey, and I surveyed like my own network to see what ideas or like what criteria is most important when people are searching for a dog. And so the top things were size, temperament, breed. I think those are the top three, and then there's also some other ones that I thought would be.
I think grooming for sure.
Yeah.
Like how much level of grooming they need.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think it's another thing people don't think about either, so it's a good one to have.
Mm-hmm.
Bone. James Bone. It's not ending.
Really good at this. So I'm gonna need those ones. Update this really quick. Any breed, any size, any temperament, and like in the actual app, this would probably be more of like a checklist. This option, so you could check different things that you're willing to tolerate. Some dogs are really hyper, like I said.
I'll deal with this. Fine.
Yeah. Age. So as far as age goes, it would be puppy, adult, senior, sex, and then distance would be any distance. So how willing are you to drive and travel to get this dog? that's the search. Bring this down a little bit. And then also just gonna grab a button from my symbols panel.
That's so nice. So easy.
And then sort of give users an indication as they're building this profile that they're gonna be searching for, giving them an indication of how many results. What did I say? I said view, say there's that many results that match your criteria.
It's a lot of choices.
Yeah, so a lot of dogs need to be adopted. Let me rename this artboard. So this would be search. So that page was, what did that take, like 5 minutes maybe?
Yeah,
to make?
seriously. It's awesome.
Bring this down a little bit. So then after that, this page should be pretty quick too. It's just gonna be the search results. And since I've already created the dog breed card over here to use, I'll just duplicate that and use repeat grid again.
Nice.
So delete this. We're gonna have search results, and then copy this a way to even further filter the results that you get.
So what kind of options do you think you'd put in there?
I think it would be maybe being able to refine the distance, things like that. I haven't really thought through exactly how you would filter it, but just kind of being able to edit these criteria here even further down maybe.
Yeah.
Filter, and then like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and add this card. Let's see, is it grouped?
Yeah, I think you grouped those
Did I
ones.
group it? I don't think I did, just in case. Do you have to group it before you add it to your symbols?
That's a good question. I'm not sure actually.
Let's try it. Let's see.
I would think so.
No, you don't have to. Looks like. Okay, so
So the question is, when you pull it out of your symbols, is it grouped or no?
let's see. Oh, I think it just. I'm not sure what's happening. Okay, maybe not. Don't do that. Let's go
So
back.
so you tried it while it wasn't grouped, right?
Yeah, so let's group
Maybe
it
if you
and
try
see.
it, grouping it, it might work.
So we have the dog card selected. Back over here, add it to your symbols. And then
Oh, there we
there
go.
we go.
So you do have to group it
Yeah,
if you're
that's
doing a bunch of items like that. That makes sense.
Yeah, it keeps it
Probably
cleaner too.
confuses it.
Yeah. Goodbye from India. Thanks for joining us.
All the way from India. That's crazy.
So these are the search results. I'm gonna use that repeat grid once again. Actually, it kind of looks. So is this green outline what appears when something is a symbol?
Yes.
Okay, that makes
Yes.
sense. Let's repeat that again.
So the most important thing I request in every app I use is there going to be a dark mode.
Dark mode.
We need dark mode in here.
It's funny because I use dark mode in Illustrator and After Effects,
yeah.
but in Photoshop, whenever I use it,
Really?
I never even think to turn on the dark mode, really. It's never occurred to me. Okay. What are some of those dog names again? That we had Will Sniff.
Oh, there's
Like
so many.
Will Sniff. Let's make him a...
Bark Vader. That was my favorite. Yeah, someone just said we need a dark mode for Bark Vader. His is just a black card. Nobody else's is white.
That's funny. Bark Vader. Let's do... It's a fancy breed. Rhodesian. I just wrote design. That's funny.
Hey,
Design
that works
on the
too.
brain. Rhodesian Ridgeback. Okay, so we have Bark Ruffalo, Will Sniff, and Bark Vader.
Bark mode. How did I not even think of that?
There's so much renaming this artboard to be search results.
And Bark Twain.
You guys are hilarious. Yeah, so just imagine this page would be a long list of dogs.
Right.
Just put 3 on there for now.
No, we got to put all 1,000, right?
I mean, how much time do we have? I can do it. Okay, so almost through with this flow. The last thing that we need as part of this would be the actual detail page, which is probably one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Actually getting the information about the dog. So go ahead and do that one. So I'm gonna call this one dog details. Okay, so let's delete this. I think one of the selling points of an app like this is obviously the pictures, so we're gonna make that be
for sure.
front and center up here. 'Cause who doesn't love looking at cute dog photos, especially when they need a home?
Yeah, people are going to get this app just to look at dogs, not even to adopt.
I mean, that's what I would do. This would be the dog name.
Should just be a page just full of pictures and nothing else.
I download that app.
That would be dog mode.
Okay, and again, kind of the selling point is the idea of the breed, so include
Somebody
that
asked
here.
what font you were using.
Using Helvetica.
Can't go wrong with Helvetica.
Yep. It's nice enough that your wires don't look terrible,
Yeah, it's the perfect starting font for sure.
but it's not too fancy, so.
Right.
So my idea here is that when you're on this dog detail page, if you were to tap on the breed of the dog, it would take you to a page about the dog breeds and kind of give that information.
Nice.
And there's also this idea of maybe it's like a dog with a mix. So let's say a dog,
Oh, okay.
Bichon Frise, Schnauzer. I like Schnauzers, so. So then this would be able to,
Right.
you could tap either one.
And go
Either
into that
mix.
category, right? Awesome.
Yep. And then from there, I want to have some sort of like visual, maybe like icons here that give you some quick at-a-glance details about this dog.
Oh my gosh. Someone in chat says, don't use Helvetica. You're going to scare those dogs.
Mom liked that one. Keep them coming. Let's see. Use repeat grid again. Drag this all the way across.
Where are them beagles at? Good question.
Beagles are so cute too. So these will be like some sort of icon. Then pulling from some of those tags that might be displayed on the card up top would be like the age, maybe the size, small, the sex of the dog, male, and then let's see, another stat could be something. I'm just gonna write stat because drawing a blank.
Oh, yeah.
So 4-ish stats about the dog quickly that you could see. And then below that, we're gonna use like a horizontal rule, and this is where you'll go into more detail about the dog and kind of give his bio and some more
Like
stuff.
his full profile, right?
The profile. Let's pull from this. Also, when you guys are working in XD, don't be like me. Make sure that you're setting up text styles and stuff like that. It's definitely something that I do when I get into design. setting up the reusable textiles, just so you're not having to copy. You can actually drag from the side panel. And it's really a good way to remain consistent and make sure that you don't end up with too many different font sizes and stuff like that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
make sure you take advantage of that. And you can.
So when did you actually start designing or know that you wanted to do design work?
So I got really lucky, and like I mentioned in my intro, I think I said it, my mom is a graphic designer, and so around the time that she went back to school to study graphic design, I was at an age where I was old enough to kind of know what computers were and be able to actually use them. And so when she would come home with Photoshop, I would be like, this looks like fun.
Makes sense.
She would kind of give me some tips and some tools, and I would use tutorials that I found online. So I think I was maybe about 10 or 12
Wow,
when I
yeah.
did that. So it's been a couple years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, I think I got lucky because I feel like so many people find design later in life, and kind of have to
that's true,
catch up,
for
you know.
sure.
So. Put that a little closer.
So from there, what was your first like official paid design gig or project you did?
I would say, so working with my mom.
Yeah,
She's
for sure.
a freelance designer, and so it wasn't necessarily like super designy. It was more laying out. She does design and publishing, so
Awesome.
laying out books in a program called Quark Express. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one, but that was my first introduction to like getting paid to design. Someone says your mom is an amazing designer. Thank you. Oh, is that Miss Tanya? Oh, okay. Hi. Hi, Patty. I need to keep looking up at the chat. I keep forgetting that there's people here.
You got some friends up in there.
Hi, friends. Yeah, so that was my first sort of like paid thing. And then as far as like being more of like an adult and working in a place, I worked on campus at UCF when I went there. I worked at a couple of different departments. All 4 years that I was in college, or all 5 years that I was in college. So
Awesome.
definitely had some experience and been able to learn some fun stuff. So we have the dog bio, and then below I'm gonna have like these little one-liners about additional quick things. So for example, this dog is house trained because that's important when you're adopting a dog. If you can get one that's already house trained, that's
a big plus.
Yeah, that's a big plus, I'd say. Put that there, and then use the ellipse tool again to make a little placeholder for some sort of icon. This will probably end up being like a check mark in design, just sort of like checking stuff off the list of features that this dog has.
Yeah.
Features. So let's do house trained, group that, repeat grid again. It's like my favorite thing ever. We're gonna say neutered. I believe that's how you spell it, hopefully it is. Great with kids. It's not a good feature. And then also, let's say loves to cuddle, because who doesn't like a dog that loves to cuddle? Okay. Make this page a little bit longer. Gonna copy this horizontal rule again. And then below this section is where we'll introduce the information about where the dog actually is. So we're gonna have some information about either the shelter or the person that is adopting the dog out. So we'll have location. This is going to be like a map, I'd say.
Yeah.
Sort of like giving you an idea of where the person is. We'll need the address.
So we have just 22 minutes until the challenge deadline. So definitely hit the challenge tab above chat. Check that out. There's still 20 minutes to get yours submitted so we can check them out at the end of the stream.
Looking forward to it.
Always fun to check out the viewers' work.
Mm-hmm. Fake address. See address, phone number, and then we'll also do an email address. Be helpful probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Wrong. The other thing that I wanted to include is the actual name of the place. So there's a place in Orlando that's called, I think it's called Pet Rescue by Judy.
Nice.
She's pretty popular. I always see her on the news.
Shout out.
Shout out to Judy. And then, like I mentioned over here, I wanted to have like this little avatar that represents the agency. So I'll kind of reintroduce that over here with another circle. Do no border, give it a fill. Center that. And then the last detail in regards to the agent or the shelter location would just be sort of like a link that you could tap in the app where you could view all of the dogs that are at this specific shelter. And then the very last thing before we complete this page will be just like another sort of way to kind of continue looking at dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So offering some more recommendations. So I'm actually going to just copy this section from that home page and paste it here. Rename it recommended, or actually let's call it you may also like. Okay, so that's this page. One other thing that I want to make sure to include is a way to obviously like the dogs on this page too. And then also a means for going back to the previous page that you were on. Gonna align these. Oop.
Oh, Tim is quoting your mom, actually. Want to check that out?
Oh, cool. Are you in the chat? Okay. She's in the
First
chat
amazing
and
design
she's in the
project was the
room.
magazine cover you designed in middle school. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, okay, so I should probably tell that story.
Yes, you should.
When I was in middle school, my teacher in my social studies class gave us an assignment for, I believe it was to design a Time magazine cover of ourselves 20 years in the future.
Oh, wow.
And so I made a cover of myself as the first female president.
That's
Hi,
awesome.
Dakari says I'm killing it. That's my brother. Hi, Dakari. So I designed a magazine of myself 20 years in the future as the first female president. I would never actually want to be president, but it just kind of felt like what I was supposed to do for some reason, so that's what I did. And so my mom, my brother, and we staged a photo shoot with me
awesome.
wearing one of my mom's like blazers,
Right.
and my brother was like, I guess like my secretary, and he had like the phone. And I think I was taking the oath on like a Bible and had
That's
pictures.
great.
So that was like a big deal for me because I was 12 years old. I was in middle school, but we
Yeah.
did a photo shoot. I laid everything out in InDesign, and it was a full color, double-sided
Wow.
magazine cover or magazine
That's
project that
awesome.
I made. And so all my other classmates, they were doing their projects in like PowerPoint and Word, which is totally fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to use. But when I came in with my project, printed from like Office Max on like glossy stock, like it was
Like,
kind
whoa,
of like
whoa.
this is different. So yeah, and we still have that. I should have brought that or brought
That's
a picture
awesome.
of it because it's definitely something that's funny to look back on now.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so this page is pretty much done.
Sweet.
The dog
Looking
details.
good. Looking good.
Thank you very much. So that's pretty much the flow for search. It's kind of where you would end. And then the last couple of pages that I would like to get through, hopefully in the next however many minutes, are the breed guide and then sort of what the breed details would look like. So that's going to be pretty similar to what the dog detail looks like, but let's start with the guide page. So let's rename this breed guide. Delete all of this, probably start fresh.
So you had a pretty awesome first project. So now what would you say is your dream project?
Dream project? So I'm a UI designer. You guys saw that I do enjoy animation and illustration.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say my dream project would probably be to illustrate a gift card for Target. So I love Target so much, and all the artists that get to sort of do those sort of illustrations, I look up to them so much. There's actually a couple local designers in Orlando that have done gift cards. I believe Adam Grayson, if you guys know him,
Oh, nice.
he recently did a holiday card for them. That was pretty cool. And I think there's probably some others that I'm not remembering right now, but that's definitely a dream project of mine, I would say.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so for this page, like I said, this is the breed guide, so this is where users would go to kind of search for breeds and be offered suggestions about breeds. Ayana's building an app in under an hour. I told you guys I have a lot to get through. I would generally, not to toot my own horn, I would generally say that I'm kind of quick at this process just because I take that time, like I said in the beginning, to plan things out pretty thoroughly on pen and paper. And so then when I'm in the program, as long as you know the program, you can get through stuff pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Especially if you're using things like repeat grid, using symbols, having your type styles set up, like it makes the process a lot smoother, I'd say. So we want to start this page with like a breed of the day. So every time the user comes on this page, they can learn about a new breed.
Well, that's a smart idea.
So we'll just represent this with like a nice pretty image. And then let's copy this here. Let's see, what was another dog breed that we had?
What was it? There was a bunch.
There was way too many. Quick, dog breeds, help me.
Let's go.
Go,
Dog
chat,
breeds.
go.
We need some dog breeds.
So this would be like the breed description here though.
Yeah.
Just like a short description. Annelle says she loves Target. Target is my weakness. Having one 5 minutes away from your apartment is not recommended, I'd say, because I just find myself going there when I'm bored, which means that you're spending money that you probably don't need to spend.
Right.
Greyhound.
Greyhound, there you go.
Thank you, Steph.
Poodle scares me.
Greyhound. Okay, so we have breed of the day. That's like the featured section on this page.
Yeah.
And then below that we can have a section. This would be like the breeds that were recommended if you took that quiz. So a quick way
Oh,
to
nice. Yeah.
breeds. Always want to remember to bring in this little save icon, because one of the value of this app also will be that you can do the search, you can save, and then be able to revisit the things that you saved. So let's copy this. Visually, I want this to be a little different so it doesn't get lost. So I'm gonna make this like a thinner sort of box down here.
Chewbacca. It's a good dog breed.
That's funny too. Smooth this over some. I think I saw, is a Leon Burger a dog breed? I've never heard of that.
Whatsoever.
It's in the chat, so I'm gonna put it. I'm trusting you guys.
It's like a cat.
Is that a cat? Okay, well, we'll sneak a cat in there.
Oh, it's real dog. I googled it.
Really? Oh, he's cute. It's gonna have 3 breeds. I think I saw, let's see, Shih Tzu. And then also, someone wants to see my notebook on GoPro. I would love to show it if you guys want to see it. I have it next to me. If we can get the GoPro going.
Yeah, it's right over
Is
here.
that possible?
So,
Is it on?
pass it over. I can put it right over here for you.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me.
Zach, you can grab the GoPro and just bring it.
Okay.
That's fine. Let's see, let me flip the. Oh, no, that works.
This way?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, so this is my notebook. People say it's really clean. I think it's because you guys can kind of see from this angle that I use a lot of, I actually use whiteout because I can't stand to like cross stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
So I use whiteout. This is sort of me planning the app. Sketches, like I said. Charles wants a dog, and then the wireframes again. And then you guys mentioned the post-it notes, so that's
right.
This is what my life looks like. But yeah, a lot of stuff in here.
So cool.
And also, I like to do travel journals whenever I travel. So I went to
Nice.
Creative Works earlier this year, or earlier was it? Some point I went to Creative Works in Memphis. If you guys have heard of it, it was a great conference. But yeah, so I'm gonna be filling that in soon.
Nice.
Yep, super organized. I have to say that way. Cool.
It's a great way to get things done.
Mm-hmm. Very proud of that notebook. So I like any opportunity I can get to show it off. I'm gonna do it. But yeah, if you guys haven't heard of bullet journaling, I highly recommend looking into that because it has definitely changed the way I plan projects and just productivity in general. Like everything I do is based on a to-do list now.
Yeah. Very
so,
nice. So do you have like, how many of those do you have?
I think this is my 4th one.
Okay.
I started last year.
How long do they last typically?
Typically, I would say between 6 months to a year, depending
That's
on
pretty
how. Yeah, it's pretty good. Depending on how busy I am, or if I just have been thinking about a lot of things.
Right.
Obviously, it gets filled up a little bit faster.
Awesome.
But I actually recently, this is my first trip of 2019, so I've started a separate one that's going to be specifically for like travel journaling. So I think it's going to be really cool one day to look back on those years from
for
now
sure.
and just see
great
documentation of all the trips I've taken over the years.
Nice.
There's a couple of users on YouTube. I think her name is Amanda Rachel Lee on YouTube. She has really awesome bullet journaling videos as far as like showing the creative side of it, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the recommended breeds, and then also this is like a design pattern that I'm borrowing from the Pinterest app. They have this idea of like trending breeds. So breeds that are either being looked at a lot currently, or that are popular in your area, or whatever, some sort of criteria. But I'm gonna style this a little bit different too. I do 2 of these at a time.
So you kind of knew that you wanted to do design from a pretty young age.
Mm-hmm.
So has there ever been anything you've thought about doing instead, or?
I always say that if I wasn't a like graphic designer or web designer, that I would be an interior designer, which isn't really that different, but that's another interest of mine. I love
Awesome.
interior decorating, creating spaces.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Make this a little bit wider.
Tim said my notebook is all digital because that's the only way to keep it organized.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I have like hundreds of notes on the Notes app.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I do have digital notes. I like to use Dropbox paper
Oh, nice. Yeah.
just because their interface kind of mimics the cleanness that I like about my current journal. So I have a ton of notes and folders in there too.
Awesome.
But I usually use that more for like documentation that's going to need to be seen by other people.
Right.
Someone said Cocker Spaniel. That's a good one. Repeat grid again.
Just 5 minutes left for that challenge deadline. Definitely get them in. It's just with the challenge tab above the chat for the details on that.
Let's see. More breeds. If you have more breeds that you guys want to see, put them in the chat now, because I have a couple more spaces that I need to fill in. Malamute. Shiba Inu, my other favorite. I heard that they're really hard to train though, so I don't think I'll ever get one.
Doberman. There's a good
Doberman.
one.
My husband wants a Doberman, so I'm sure he'll enjoy that. Oh. Put that over here. Jack Russell Terrier. I like that one too.
Perfect. A pug. Surprised nobody said that one earlier.
Okay, so this would be what the breed guide looks like. We start with your breed of the day up here, going down to your recommended breeds based on the quiz, and then some more trending breeds that you might be interested in. And also, let me just realize I made a mistake. This is all cool, but the main purpose of this page is to be able to search. So I'll need the search bar up here too.
So you got a question about what happens after the UI is approved by your clients. Do you send this to programmers, aka developers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I can kind of demonstrate it a little better tomorrow, hopefully. But the way that we do it at my job is that it's a small company. There's, I believe, 15 of us now. And so we're a pretty tight-knit group. Whenever the designers are working on an app, the developers are pretty involved as far as like giving feedback about things that we can and can't do and making suggestions.
That's
but
always good. Saves a lot of time.
It's definitely good to always have them involved in that process. But then as far as like handing off the stuff, the designs, I would also create like a style guide, which would include things about color, typography, treatments for images, things like that, the grid, bunch of different things, and then we would hand it off to them. Still be available, obviously, if they have questions, but that's pretty much how the process goes.
Yeah.
Oops,
And Tim pointed out you can actually share a link through Adobe XD where it has all the measurements, all the precise little things,
Yeah.
the colors, and everything like that. So it makes it a lot easier
Yeah, I haven't
as you go through that
actually
process.
played with that feature yet, but I can see how that could definitely be
Oh, yeah.
really helpful to the process in general.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, so I added the search, so you can search the breeds, see the breed of the day, recommended breeds, and then trending breeds.
Yeah, perfect.
Trying to see, I thought there was a question, but we already answered that one. Okay,
Yep.
and then the last page, maybe that we'll get through today, if we have time, will be the breed detail. So I'm just gonna copy the dog details because a lot of it is gonna be similar.
Right, yeah, it'll be a pretty similar page for sure.
Breed details, so we'll start with like an image up here. We'll have the breed name here, so I'm just gonna do Greyhound since that's the featured one.
And there's just 1.5 minutes left for the challenge submission deadline. So if you've been trying to finish off, right now is a perfect time to submit. If not, you don't have to worry too much because of the stream after us, you can submit then as well.
Delete all the stuff that I don't really need. Okay, so we have the breed name, and then up here I'm gonna have just like a description.
Yeah.
So that's what this would be. Let me write that out. Okay. And then below that, I kind of want to have the same sort of, kind of like a list like this. So this will be information that's sort of specific to the breeds. So we'll do height, average weight. And when I was designing this app at home, kind of going through what I would do, this is one of the things that I looked on. I believe the AKC website where they have the different specifications about dogs.
Yeah.
This is kind of like the information that they generally would put. Life expectancy, and then some little adjectives about the dog's temperament, mood. Okay, so that's that. And then below this, I'm going to put just some more sections about the breed based on a number of categories. So
Andrew, to answer your question about does it export as CSS? It doesn't export as CSS. You can see all of the info about it and everything, but there actually is some plugins now where you can do exactly that in XD. So definitely check out the plugins tab in XD if you want to see how that works.
let's see.
And that is the deadline for the submission as well. So I have a couple ready for when we're ready to move on to that, but for now we'll stick on your screen.
Okay, just let me know when I
Keep
need to
things
switch over.
moving.
So about the breed, we're gonna do things like nutrition.
Oh yeah.
So,
I think as you do this, you realize there's so many more things to consider than you might
yeah,
assume.
there's a lot that goes into stuff like this. I'm just gonna copy, actually, repeat grid. Keep reminding myself.
I know, right? It takes forever to get used to it. You're so used to doing it the way
Yeah.
that you always have.
But that just shows you there's like so many different uses for that one feature.
Yeah,
in this
absolutely.
program. So we'll do nutrition, grooming, which is what you mentioned a little while ago, exercise requirements, and then something about like how easy they are to train, something like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much that for this page. And then I also had the idea of, this just represents it, interspersing some like educational videos or
Oh, that's
just
a great
images
idea, actually,
also.
yeah.
So maybe this is a video. Let's pretend that's what that is. I'll actually put a text label on here just to represent it. And then below that, I'm just gonna do the same thing that I kind of did on the dog detail page, kind of a means for keeping the users engaged with the app. So I'm going to do a related breeds section below this. Make this page a little bit longer. Oops. Almost done here. So again, related breeds. So we really want the users to potentially
Right.
get lost in this app. So.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And then we'll add one more here to give the indication that you can swipe. That is the breed detail page.
There we go, looking good. So many pages do we have now?
Let's see.
It's filling up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Dang, that's pretty impressive. You did it pretty quick.
Thanks.
10 screens already.
Yep. I don't know how much time I have. I actually had 2 more that I could do if we have time. Do
Yeah,
need
we
to
have
do
some
them?
time to do a couple more screens
Okay.
for sure.
These ones will be a little quicker. Okay, so I had mentioned the idea of being able to save the dogs or save
yeah,
breeds,
yeah.
so that's kind of what these 2 pages will be.
Okay.
So delete this. Rename this page saved breed. So what we'll need up here is some sort of like, what do we call it? Like a tab system. So I'm just gonna represent it like a line with the categories here. So we have for saved dogs, and then over here we'll have breeds. I'm just going to show what the breeds page will look like. So I'm going to lower the opacity of this one to 50%
Okay.
to sort of indicate that it's not currently active. And then we can also put like an active state over here with like a darker line, showing that this,
Nice, yeah.
this tab is active, basically. Actually, let me make this 328 divided by 2, 164.
So what did you just do right there?
I just did some math real quick to figure out what the half of this
Oh,
line
okay,
length
so
would
it's
be. Yeah.
perfectly lined up. Makes sense.
Oh, if you guys don't know about, if you have a Mac and you're not using this, I believe it's called Spotlight Search.
Yep.
You should. It's just command space on your keyboard, and you can do quick math in it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I use it all the time. Breeds. Okay, and then just gonna reuse. Actually, let's use this one so we can get more on one page. And then on this page, it would, since this is currently saved, I would just give it a fill from these hearts. And then if you were to tap that heart again, it would obviously remove it from this page.
A couple people saying apparently you can do the math in the width and height fields in XD.
That is true.
I did not even know that.
Yeah, I can actually demonstrate it.
Yeah.
So you can, if you have a box that's however
Right.
big this one is, if you wanted to make it 50 pixels wider, you could do plus 50.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, that's awesome.
It's also good to have, yep.
I did not know that.
Okay, so that is the saved breeds, and then since we have time, no one has stopped me yet. I'm just gonna do the
Yeah,
saved
go ahead.
dogs.
Yeah, we're with you.
So we'll make this one active. I'm pressing the numbers on my keyboard, so I'm pressing 0 to make it 100% opacity,
Okay.
pressing 5 to drop this down to 50% opacity.
Do you always do 50%?
Yeah, in the wires I do, just because
Okay.
it works generally. Make this. And then I'm just gonna copy, I believe, did I save the symbol of the dog card? I did.
I think so, yeah. A lot of people didn't know about that, so really helped quite a few people with that little math trick.
Yeah. It works for dividing two, so you can do /2.
Right.
I believe it should work that way.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay, so peek right here. Okay. And now, I believe I am done. So, 12 pages.
Awesome. So is that all the pages we have to get through?
Yep,
Awesome.
that's it.
Do you want to quickly just go through every one really quick, just
Yeah.
to kind of recap if somebody wasn't here
For
the
sure.
whole time?
So, just in case you're just joining us, we're designing an app for matching people with dog breeds based on a personality quiz, and then also giving them the ability to search for adoptions in their local area. So we have a launch screen, so this could be like a fun screen with like either an image or an illustration. It sort of just pops up when you first launch the app. Upon the first launch, we would present them with this screen that gives them the ability to either take the quiz or just dive right into the search. This is an example of what a quiz question would look like. We'd have some sort of fun icon here, the options, and then a progress bar down below. And then I put these like little stacked card look. So I was mentioning before in the beginning that during the interactive prototyping part on day 3, hopefully I'll be able to prototype some animations of like the cards swiping
Yeah.
off to the left.
That'd
Yeah,
be
it kind of
sweet.
is like a dating app. I think it's that interaction is kind of similar to Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
Anel says it looks like a dating app. And then the user, after taking the quiz, would be matched with some dog breeds. So here's an example of what that would look like. Just listing the breed name, description, some tags that sort of give common features of this breed. This first screen is the home screen, so you're presented with recent searches, recently viewed dogs, and then some other dogs that might be recommended in your area.
Nice.
And then down at the bottom, I have sort of what the app navigation will look like.
So it's kind of like your dashboard, basically.
Yeah, basically like a dashboard,
Makes
exactly.
sense.
So this is the search page. A couple of different search options here. The ability to view the results, which would take you to this page where it lists out the dogs.
Very nice.
And then we have a dog detail page, so a nice big image to start, some details about the dog as far as like a profile, some sort of traits that would be good for users to know about, and then the location of the dog as far as where they are available for adoption at.
Right.
And then also leading users into using the app even more, recommending some dogs that they may also like that kind of relate to the one that they're currently looking at.
Nice.
And then let's see, dog breeds. So this is the breed guide. You can search for breeds using the field up here. And then down here we have sections for like a breed of the day where you can sort of educate yourself about a different dog breed every day. Your recommended breed, so this is a section that would house the recommendations that you got based on the personality quiz if you took it. And then below that, some trending breeds, so breeds that are kind of popular on the app that people have been searching for and viewing a lot.
Nice.
Next up, a couple more pages, we have the breed details, so just information about the breed, you can learn more about nutrition, grooming, exercise, things like that. Some videos, maybe some additional assets, and then some related breeds. And then the next 2 pages are just what a saved page would look like. So when you're clicking or tapping the little heart icon up here, this is where that would be saved to. So we have it divided by breeds and then by dogs.
Awesome. Really solid.
Thank you.
It's going to be really fun to get the styles going tomorrow, right?
Yeah, looking forward
That's
to
the
it.
plan?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So we have 2 submissions that we got for the Daily XD challenge
Okay.
today. And so if you don't know, basically they were supposed to add, actually let me check. It was for the add a voice command to a smartwatch app for sending cash. So
Okay, cool.
like Cash App or Venmo or whatever. And so this first one, let's check it out. We got our passcode there. Awesome. So this is a voice one, so we're not really going to test that part, but we can still skip through it. Because in XD, you can actually do
Yeah, I
voice
saw that.
prototyping,
That's
which is awesome.
That's really cool.
So this one's kind of controlled by Siri. Very cool. Then you select your card.
Oh,
and that's the animation. that
That's
I
a
was
cool
talking about
interaction.
in the
Yeah, that's
browser.
awesome.
So that's perfect. Hopefully that's not a real card. But that's
that
pretty much
quick.
it for this one, so we'll go through it a couple times so you can kind of check it out.
Yeah.
Any thoughts and feedback for him?
No, I think it's really great. I love the interaction, the animation you just did. I would maybe check the spacing on something just because some of the elements seem a little close and some things seem a little off center maybe, but other than that, it looks really good.
Pretty solid.
I love a dark interface, so
Yeah, me too.
looks awesome.
Animation's really smooth too.
Super smooth.
That looks good. This next one has 15 screens, so it's going to
Okay.
take a little bit to go through.
Cool.
So I think this is just like the home screen of the Apple Watch, and that's his app, right? Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
fun.
that was nice.
Good transition.
So these are probably your friends, people to send money to. Okay, then we select who and how much. Send $5. Send another 10. Oh, send another
Oh, you're
50.
sending a lot of money.
There we go. Cash sent.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay. So all those screens come from those interactions. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, any feedback so far?
No, I think this one's really great too. I like how you use that blur effect. That's really
Yeah, that
awesome.
looks good. That does look good.
Yeah, and then the transitions, like I said, are really good. I think maybe those underlines on the previous page felt a little bit heavy, but I mean, that's just a design preference. Like, as far as the actual interactions in the app, I
yeah.
think it looks really good.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Get that a little smaller.
Yeah,
Line it up a little bit.
great job.
Yeah, but it's awesome. Like how you're like changing your mind to add more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you some more money, fine. Yeah, but that's the 2 we have today, so we can jump back to your screen.
Okay.
And we can kind of get a little taste for what we're going to do tomorrow since we have a couple minutes left.
Yeah, definitely. So I mentioned before that tomorrow that I will be jumping into design. So I'm going to start by sort of showing you guys what it looks like when I build out a mood board, kind of what that'll include as far as doing some app research, getting some UI ideas for different patterns and things like that, sort of building out a style guide. So building out the color library here on the sidebar, building out some text styles, and then, yeah, from there we'll just design. Hopefully I will be able to get through as much as I was able to get through today.
Yeah, you did a lot of good work.
Thank you. Yeah, and then on day 3, if you guys stick around for that, hopefully you will, we'll be moving into playing with the prototyping as far as like hooking up the app to actually use it as a prototype, and then playing with some of the features kind of that you just saw
Yeah,
demonstrated on our examples with the auto animate. So I'm really looking forward to that because animation is one of my things that I really like. So
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I've seen a lot of your YouTube videos and stuff, so
thank
that's
you.
awesome. So we have about like 9 minutes left, so if you want, we can actually start just some of the design or maybe just kind of refine
Sure.
the wireframes you have going now to get kind of a taste for tomorrow.
What we could do is start looking for maybe some dog
Oh,
stock
yeah,
photos on
for sure.
Adobe Stock. Can we do
Oh
that?
yeah, that's a great idea. Especially since we chose some breeds.
Adobe Stock. Oh, looks like my Wi-Fi is not working in here, so maybe not.
Oh,
Okay, just kidding. We're not doing that. Yeah, so I can start kind of showing you guys what it looks like to build out a style guide and kind of how I like to lay it out. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and start doing that, and then it might look a little different when we come back tomorrow, but I can just sort of give you guys an idea of what things I like to include.
And we got a comment saying that she learned a ton from your thought process as a beginner and is ready to throw.
Awesome,
So
glad to help.
it's always good to hear, right?
Yeah, that makes me happy that you guys learned something, so that's what we're here for, to teach.
Absolutely.
So when I'm building out style guides, as far as like picking colors and sort of where that begins, I don't really have a science for doing that exactly. I just usually, as I'm going through the wires, I'm starting to get ideas about colors that I might be interested in using, and maybe like an illustration style that I might want to look and experiment with.
Yeah.
So I actually have a color palette saved already, so
nice.
I'll just pull out a couple of those colors and show you guys.
Some nice minty green.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the main color of the app.
Oh, nice. Tim said there's a dog with cucumbers on his eyes on Adobe stock. Well, looks like we'll have to use that one.
Yeah, we'll have to use him. So pull out the colors, and then always, of course, adding them to your assets panel over here. So we have this green, and then I'm also going to do, let's see, to complement the green. Generally with app design like this, for my own sake, because I can tend to go overboard sometimes, I like to try to limit myself, at least in the beginning, to just a couple of colors.
Yeah, it's always a good idea.
Yeah, so we're going to use like this greenish color. Just showing up a little bit more green on this screen than it is on mine, but this greenish color for like the main app, and then this orange color will be like an action color for buttons and things like that. So
nice.
As far as setting up the style guide goes, I like to give each color a title. So I'll do green base to start,
Nice.
and then I'll copy the hex code from here.
So what made you want to do a green color? What was your thought process for the colors?
It just was something I had been seeing a lot of on like Dribbble and on Behance when I was researching the app. And I did do a little bit of research for apps that are kind of in this pet app space.
And that's smart to do.
So there were a couple of apps that were using not exactly a green like this, but kind of cooler colors seem to be the trend for apps like this. And it's up to you to make the decision as to whether you want to use a color that kind of meshes well with the current industry, or something that stands out that's completely different. But I decided for this app that I wanted to do something that's kind of gonna look like it belongs, if that makes sense. So we have green base, and then I'm gonna do orange base. And the reason why I call these base is, I will show you in a second. Let me copy this hex code really quick. I think I just copied the wrong one. Okay. Copy that. Command V to paste. Okay, so the reason I call these base when I'm building out the style guide is that generally, so when I'm handing off these designs to like a developer, whoever's going to be building it, it's common that they will need not just these colors, but they'll also need colors, specifically for like desktop apps. They'll need colors for like hover states, things like that. So I'll start with the base color, and then I actually have a way that I like to at least start getting an idea of the colors that are going to complement. So I'll do a green dark. And what I like to do is I will actually duplicate this so it has the same color box on top, and then I make it like a pure black. And then I'll adjust the opacity on top to something like 50%. And that'll give me like a shade that I can use for dark. And then I'll do the same thing for like a light version of it.
And so it all starts with the same base, so that totally makes sense.
Yeah. And this isn't like an exact science, but I found that it works for me.
Yeah,
so if I need like a light version of the color. I'll do. And then of course, as you go, like you might find that these things need to be tweaked. So then, let's see. Oops. Undo. So I actually use this other plugin that's built in. I think it's called Color Snapper. I don't know if it's still available, but it basically gives you a way to pick colors from anywhere on the screen.
Oh, nice.
But it's not built into the app, so then I'll use this color picker, do Command-Shift-C to actually pick the hex color, and you'll see
Oh, that's cool.
the code, and then I can fill it in here.
Nice. Makes it easier.
Yeah. So it's not really the best process to maybe demonstrate on camera, but I'll then delete that overlay, and I'll paste this one in there, and then you'll have the actual color that you need.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I like to do. And then, like I said, this sort of gets you started in building out a color palette as you work through and you start thinking about things like whether or not these colors are accessible with your text and stuff. Like you might have to make some tweaks, but this is just, like I said, a good place to start. And then, of course, add these to my color palette. And then I like to keep the hex code over here too, but I'll also add like what the name that I've given it.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I'll do it like that. Oh, didn't mean to change the color, but you guys get what I mean though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Green, dark.
So are you going to do the same thing with the orange, or is it not really? Well, I guess it would still be needed for the button, right?
Yeah. So generally I would do the same thing with the orange. I don't know if we have time to even get to it today, but.
Yeah, we have about 2 minutes.
Yeah. So let me just name this one. Yeah, so the same process would happen with the orange. I would.
Oh, and Tim pointed out that you can actually use the eyedropper tool in Adobe XD. It's next to the fill color on to the right when you select an object. That can make it a little bit easier
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
that makes sense. Yeah. Duplicate this, give it a black fill, drop it down to 50%, and then duplicate this, give it a white fill, drop it down to 50%. So I guess what Tim is saying, I could technically go here,
Right,
kind
right.
of shift it over, and then.
Then you don't have to use another app.
Mm-hmm.
You can just do it all right next to you.
Yep. That makes sense. Thank you, Tim. Don't know why I didn't think about that. Is there a shortcut for bringing up the eyedropper in this?
That's a good
is
question.
It
I'm
I?
not sure
Because
if
I
there
know
is.
I works in Photoshop. I don't know if it works here. Maybe not. Feature request. Shortcut for the eyedropper. Okay. And then update that. Grab this hex value here. Yeah, so this isn't perfect, but this is kind of someone
Yeah, it's
asked
coming
in the
together,
chat
though.
before, like what
Yeah.
my style guides look like. This is kind of where it starts. I usually start with color and typography.
So first thing tomorrow, what do you think the plan is?
So first thing tomorrow, I'll either come with a mood board made or I'll make one live. But
See
yeah,
how you're feeling.
the idea is to show the mood board as far as like what I'm thinking
nice.
about the UI, and then just hop right into XD and start designing.
Awesome. So I just have one quick question. The typography, when are you going to start on deciding that? Or are you just going to keep it with the Helvetica?
I've already decided ahead of time. I'm going to
Oh,
be
okay.
using something that's a little bit more fun. So
Okay.
I'm going to be using Museo Rounded. So I've
Perfect.
decided that already.
Sweet.
Yep.
That'll be fun to check out then. All right, we got another stream coming up here in just a couple of minutes, so definitely stick around. But we will be back live tomorrow, 11 a.m. PT,
Yep.
and the next day as well. It's been a really great stream, super fun to
Yeah,
see
had
your
fun.
process. And
Thank you.
really love the notebook and all the details you did there, and I'm sure everybody else
Yeah.
did as well, so
Yeah,
that was
I'll-
awesome.
I might be able to show some more stuff tomorrow. Maybe
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
flip through it again if you guys want to see.
Yeah, for sure. Seems like everybody loves it, so that's a great thing to
Awesome.
check out for sure. But yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow. Stick around. There's another stream coming up in just a couple of minutes. See ya.
Bye.